The economy continues to deteriorate like never before. The U.S. consumers getting buried under financial obligations that they cannot handle. We're seeing delinquency spike, more layoffs, people getting frustrated like I've never seen before, loan delinquencies. It's all getting worse, folks. So make sure you're tuned in to the end of the video. I'm going to give you my take on it, and we're going to give you some tips at the end of the video that I think will help hopefully a lot of people watching today. Let's go ahead and get started right here with the reminder that just a few weeks ago we found out that things were much, much worse than even I had thought. Right? I had been recording or reporting the recordings of the jobs data and had given you the numbers each month, and I let you know, okay, there's going to be some downward revisions because typically a few months later they'll come back and they'll downward revise it. So the numbers that we reported were pretty bad. But what do we find out a few weeks ago? BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, shows annual hiring was actually overstated by 911,000 jobs over the past year. So people that thought I had bad news or that I was negative or that I was overstating how bad the economy really was, I was actually making it seem a lot better because I didn't know it was going to be such a bad. I knew it would be bad or worse than we were seeing, but I didn't know it was going to be that much worse, folks. 911,000, nearly a million jobs worse than what was actually reported initially. And the amount of lost confidence that we've seen just since the beginning of the year. Remember, early 2025, people were a lot of people, not everybody. Many people were excited. New leadership coming in, new administration. Oh, we're going to see inflation drop, and actually we're going to see the cost of living come down. That did not happen. We're going to see all these jobs come pouring back in from all these other countries. Has not happened. We've actually lost more jobs outsourcing. And now that we know the real numbers, we know that that's actually worse than I've been reporting as well. And we're going to hear from a few people that are just frustrated with the cost of living, barely scraping by. Making $100,000 really doesn't get you anywhere anymore, especially if you have a family, if you have financial obligations. If you live in California, where I'm at, you're going to need at least $120,000 if you have a family just to break even, in my opinion. A single person could probably do okay, even on $60,000 if you play your cards right, if you find a good place, a cheap place, if you buy at the right time. That's one of the lucky things that happened to me. I happened to have bought in 2010. When prices had come down significantly in the housing market. People are hoping that that's going to happen again, that there'll be some sort of housing correction. But the way it's going, it's looking like just never-ending rising prices, and that's why so many people are losing a lot of hope, especially compared to the beginning of the year. People were optimistic, and we've seen things just fall apart even worse here in the last 9 months. And here's just one recent example. It just came out. Capital One, they acquired Discover. They cut 400 jobs in latest layoffs tied to the acquisition of Discover, rather. And we've seen this with companies that merge or acquire other companies. They'll buy the company, they'll acquire it because they like, what's going on overall, but there'll be a few things that they don't like, and they'll cut jobs. And that's what just happened. 400 jobs cut now from people that used to be Discover employees. But let's take a listen to someone that actually thinks things are going to get a lot worse. He thinks things are headed in the wrong direction and doesn't sound too hopeful that things are going to get better anytime soon.
What does the next decade look like with the generation of young men coming up trying to work their ass off that aren't seeing anything? The amount of people that are working hard, doing everything they can to put food on the table, put a roof over their head, provide for them and their family, even just them and their wife and their husband, whoever, is now in a world where if they work harder, they're not making enough money. And when they're not making enough money, they're being told it's because they're not working hard enough. They were able to do it. Grandma was able to do it. Uncle was able to do it. Sister-in-law was able to do it. Why can't you do it? Huh? You must not be working hard enough.
You can tell this guy's really upset at the situation. Sounds like he's had a lot of people just to tell him to work harder. And then what else did they say? Work smarter. All right. Continue.
You must not be doing it right. You need to stop being lazy. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. What's the mental health of this country going to look like in the next decade if this continues? We already have the highest level of mental health, lowest levels of mental health amongst the Gen Z and young millennials that I believe historically has ever been registered. I don't know how long we've been studying that, but it's not good. Since it's not good. And now we're in a world where you have to make $128,000 to live comfortably in a home in America, according to the Wall Street Journal, where you have to make over $100,000 just to get to the point, honestly, if you're in a relationship with a home to cover your bills. Not thriving, not saving, not investing, not growing, not gaining assets, not facilitating a lifestyle that you're going to be proud of in the land of opportunity with your hard workedness. No, you'd be getting by. And I'm just going to be very real with you. As a real estate agent who's been doing this for 8 years now, I served in the military. I went overseas. I fought in Afghanistan. I did the thing for this country. I'm sick.
Wow, he's a real estate agent, folks. If you think all real estate agents are raking in the money because these 3% commissions, sometimes not even that. With this slowdown in the housing market, folks, home sales are at the lowest they've been in a long, long time, decades, even though prices are still high.
I'm sick of what this country is doing right now. Continuing to gaslight this next generation into thinking the opportunity is still there. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, the land of opportunity is not opportune right now. If you are looking in the mirror at yourself wondering what you're doing wrong, let me look into your camera and tell you you're not. Let me tell you, there are so many millions of young, hardworking men and women in our country right now that are not reaping the benefits that the past generations reaped.
Wow, things we've talked about here in this channel. That's why we've switched up direction on here. I used to talk a lot about investing. What I found out from a lot of my audience was they don't have money to invest. They're struggling. They're barely scraping by. And when you look at the statistics, it matches what my audience is telling me. About 70% of people barely scraping by, paycheck to paycheck. That number seems to be climbing. But the top 10% of the people at the very top, top wealth earners or income earners, they seem to be getting wealthier and wealthier exponentially, right? Let's continue.
You are not dumb. You are not non-special. You are not doing it wrong. You are working hard, 40, 50, 60 hours, you and your significant other, maybe hundreds of hours of work a week within your household, and you still feel like you can hardly afford to raise your child? That's not fair. And no, I'm not a socialist, Marxist, communist, blah, blah, blah. It's simply not fair. I understand we're in a free market. I understand capitalism means work hard, get money, have all this opportunity to do something with your life because you have this freedom. This freedom. We always have freedom. Oh, free market, capitalism, yay, money. 74.6% of the money is in the top 10%'s hands. 32% of it's in the top 1%'s hands. I believe it's over a quarter percent in the top 0.1%. I just don't see what the next decade looks like if this continues. If nothing systemically shifts. If nobody actually makes change. And then they give you all your sports teams. And they give you your Netflix subscription. And they give you all of these things that keep us entertained. And all these, I just find myself now I'm a huge sports fan, by the way.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Every
Did you say
commercial,
he was a sports fan? Apologize.
I just find myself now I'm a huge sports fan, by the way.
Folks, I'm a sports fan. I watch sports on TV. I watched NFL this weekend. These ball players, these athletes making millions of dollars off of people that are living paycheck to paycheck. Yes, there's people with high incomes watching or going to these games, buying the tickets. But I think probably most of the crowd in there is probably the average person that's got a mortgage, they've got debt, probably many people living paycheck to paycheck, but people, they feel like they want to be entertained, right? If they can't go on a cruise, they're going to at least go to a football game or go to a club or go out to eat at restaurants. That's why you still see economic activity. People still want to feel like they're living life, all right? But we're going to hear from someone later that says that's the problem. Not the economy. They're saying the way people spend money is at least a big part of the problem. We're going to hear that towards the later half of the video, so stay tuned for that. But let's take a look at this next.
I've seen video after video after video talking about people talking about going into foreclosure, eviction notices, living paycheck to paycheck, and same. Yep, we are living paycheck to paycheck. And I got to thinking, I remember 14 years ago when my daughter was born, I had no money pretty much. I mean, I was working as a waitress, I was young, I was a freshman in college, thinking if I made this much money, I would be living stress-free. I do make that much money now. In fact, I make more money than that. I make good money. My husband makes good money. And we are living paycheck to paycheck. Just over the last 5 years, our car insurance has doubled, almost tripled, and no, we don't have any new tickets, no car accidents, nothing. Our phone bill has doubled, and I've paid off pretty much all of our...
Actually, my cell phone bill, I've got to say, hasn't doubled. It's actually been $30 a month for, wow, years, right? It hasn't went up at all, that I recall. But I get her point. She's got bills going up, insurance is going up. People that are saving to buy something big, like people that are saving to buy a house, for the past few years, they saw the houses go up in value faster than they could save up for. So they would have been better off trying to buy several years ago, even at lower incomes, because homes were lower back then. Prices are starting to come down a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but take a listen to the rest of what she has to say.
Keeps going up. Our mortgage has gone up $600, $700 since we bought our house 5 years ago, just from an increase in homeowners insurance and property taxes. Our medical insurance has gone up. More money is being taken out of our paychecks or whatever. Grocery bills, can't even fathom how much more it's gone up. At least $600 a month. Like, this blows my mind. Like, we worked our way from the bottom to have like these really nice careers, thinking like, oh, this is it, like we finally made it, and we are still living paycheck to paycheck, like, and barely making it, literally stressing out about finances all the time. If this was 20 years ago, we probably would have been considered upper class, or I know we would have been considered upper class, and now we are literally barely hanging on. Like, it blows my mind. And
if you have a family, I think in most states, even 80,000 is poverty. 100,000 may even be poverty, depending on your overhead, your costs, how many dependents you have, all that.
I don't understand how this is okay in any way. And all I can picture is like these billionaires sitting up in their like little offices and just like laughing about how poor we are. I don't know. I'm so mad and frustrated, and after seeing so many videos of people losing their houses and apartments and cars, and like, how is this okay? How is this okay? And the government, everyone's just like, yeah, it's cool. Well, we're millionaires. It's fine.
Yeah, she's got a point. I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with what she's saying. But we're going to hear from someone again later in this video that kind of disagrees on what the whole causation is, what the problem is. And I think you'll find it very interesting, so stay tuned. But first, take a listen to this. And this makes me a little bit sad to see that there are people out there like this that have been working hard. But he says he basically has nothing. Take a listen.
You know, you go online and everyone says, oh, you got to save, you got to prepare for retirement, you got to do this, and you got to invest, and you got to save 30% of your check. I've been working for like 30 years, and I just realized this morning, I don't have any savings. I got nothing for savings. I got nothing. I don't have any savings. I don't have any savings. I got nothing. For 30 years, I've been paying bills, raising kids, and for like the last 10 or 15 years, paying child support. And at the end of the week, I got nothing left.
And a lot of the kids being raised right now, when they graduate high school, they're not going to be able to buy a house. They're going to be asking for money from a parent, their parents, hopefully, their parents are still there. They're going to be asking money from parents that are broke and are scraping by and that are just like this guy. They don't have anything.
I'm probably not the only one, but I'm not scared to admit it. Do I have a retirement? No. Do I have a savings account? I have no savings account. I have a little extra money. At the end of the week, there's always a bill that I forgot to pay, or something in my car needs to be fixed, or you need tires, or you need to get in alignment. This whole thing about saving for retirement and putting money in a savings account, we're in 2025, man. Shit don't work that way. We don't got no money to save. And I don't think I'm the only one, but I think it's just the way the world is now, where things are so expensive, no matter how much you have, it's never enough. And there sure as hell ain't enough to save money. 30%, 20%? Nah, it's not possible. It's just not possible. And that just goes to show you there's something wrong with this whole system. If you can't even save money for a rainy day or save money for an emergency, then there's definitely something wrong. And that's the problem. They gotta realize there's a problem, and they gotta find a way to fix the problem. Maybe by making things not as expensive, maybe by not making taxes so absorbently high. So
They've got to fix the problem. But guess what? They just made the problem worse with their rate cut. Lower interest rates, remember, cause higher prices. They cause inflation. And we just cut the rates here just recently. The Fed funds rate.
people can actually enjoy when you get a paycheck and say, oh, wow, I can pay some bills. I'm going to put some money in my savings account so, I can save that for my kids' college education someday, or for when they turn 18 and want to buy a car. But sadly, in 2025, there is no way to save. And this has been going on for years and years and years because things just keep getting more and more expensive.
All right, folks. So we're going to hear next from someone that thinks it's not so much the system or that there's too much greed and the billionaires are taking everything from everybody. There's the way people are spending money. And we talk about that here a lot, that people want to have fun. YOLO, you only live once, is the term. Just have fun. Just spend all the money you make because you can't take it with you, right? That's the attitude that a lot of people have. Many people have just accepted that this is normal, living paycheck to paycheck. It's been going on for so long now. The high cost of living, people have just accepted it, and they've given up. For some people, they've given up trying to save money. Some people can't, even if they could, like the person we just heard from. But I talk to many people that just say, I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to have fun. My friends are having fun. People on social media, Facebook, they look like they're having fun. They're on cruises, they're at clubs, they're traveling, they're buying brand new clothes, shopping sprees. They're going to have fun, even if it means not saving any money and never actually owning much of anything, right? But let's hear from someone else that kind of just doesn't really disagree. I'll let you decide. Take a listen.
Our parents did not live like us. They were not taking multiple vacations a year. They didn't have Uber Eats. They were not eating out every night. They were not buying new clothes. They weren't going to the club. They did not have social media to constantly be comparing themselves to others and trying to one up, or lifestyle inflation. Everybody blames the economy, and our economy is not great. It's different. We all know we have to spend more to survive now, but also look at our spending habits and the lifestyle inflation. We spend so much money as young people on stuff that does not matter. And 20, 30, 40 years ago, people did not care about it. There was not the same social status or social quo. So if you're going to complain about the economy, if you're going to complain about how hard it is to quote unquote survive, ask yourself, what lifestyle are you comparing it to? Because taking multiple trips a year, getting new clothes all the time, doing all these lavish things, they're not a necessity, and you don't need it to live a happy lifestyle.
Wow, folks. So there you go. So a younger person there that kind of is not in line with what a lot of people think. A lot of people are just blaming, they're blaming the people that are older than them. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. They're blaming the baby boomers. They're blaming the people that, grew up when things were really cheap and you could get by on one job and you could raise a family on one income. But he is taking a different angle at it. And we talk about that here a lot, folks. It's a lot of this is spending. Folks, if you stop spending money, if you stop paying these exorbitant ticket prices for concerts, sporting events, prices will come down because the stadiums will be empty if everybody just says no. If you refuse to take out a huge loan and buy that car, if you refuse to make that purchase, if more people do that, if enough people do that, it doesn't even have to be everybody. If enough people do it, prices will come down. Right? But of course, you've got to look at the big picture. They've made it very easy to keep on buying stuff, even when you don't have money. The buy now, pay later, the credit card limits, what seems like endless debt, right? We never see the debt. It's never too much, right? Even national debt, 37 trillion. It's going to go to 40 trillion. It's going to go to 50 trillion. Seems like there's no cap. There's no limit. There's no stopping. It's never ending. All right. So where does it end? I mean, please let me know down in the comments what you think, what your story is, what your thoughts are. And I hope to see you in the next video. Please make sure you're subscribed and keep stacking, everybody. Bye now. Peace.